Welcome. My name's Chris Hamilton. It's March 7th, 2020, and we've had one of the, one of the most bearish weeks we've had in quite a while this last week, right? So I thought I'd talk a little bit about it. Quick YouTube session here. Talk a little bit about my experience. You know, I'm not a professional investor. I'm not a personal finance advisor. I do watch a lot of YouTube videos about personal finance, and I definitely follow a lot of people much smarter than myself. I think I definitely was burned earlier in my younger years as a young man, and that's probably one of the best things that could have ever happened to me. I got caught in the I guess they call it the dot-com bubble. I didn't lose a ton, but at the time it was a ton to me. And so over the last week or two, pretty sure I'm down a significant amount in my retirement accounts. And I don't have an exact calculation because I'm not particularly interested to know how much I have lost. And it's funny, you hear a lot, it's all about time in the market, not timing the market. And what's funny about that, and I found this in myself over the last week, is thinking, oh, it's a great time to get into the market and buy the dip and all of this stuff. And the phrase timing the market works both ways, right? You don't, buying the dip is kind of a ridiculous thing when you think about it in terms of just having a plan, right? And so most of the professionals that I subscribe to or would pay attention to, I've got a cat here clawing at me, it's the most important thing is to have a plan and stick to it, right? And so if your plan was to buy or to sell at any given time based on some situations or requirements that you have in your life, that's the most important thing. And I think responding to those types of specific requirements becomes tricky. But for the average person like myself, I'm at least, I would say, 10 to 12 years from having to draw on any kind of retirement, or even being eligible to draw on retirement funds. So what the market does today, tomorrow, this year, next year really has no meaning whatsoever, other than it just creates those butterflies in your stomach. Now, I will say it's ironic. My daughter just turned 16. I mentioned that in another video, and she got her first job this year, right? And so with that, she has some earned income, so she qualifies to start an IRA. So we got her started with a Roth IRA, and this happened just right around the turn of the calendar year, right, earlier November, December timeframe. And so she jumped into the market at probably the worst time. And so I haven't had this conversation with her yet, and she's not asking about it, but her account's down, right? So I can look at the small amount that she's put in there, and she's down, right? So it hurts me a little bit to see that happen, and I'm the one that caused it and convinced her to do this, but I'm no doubt that it'll pay off in the long run. So for all of you that are out there worrying, you have concerns, should I get out? Should I get in? I'd say that's the wrong question. The real question is, what is your plan, and what are your requirements, right? What are you saving for? What are you dreaming about, right? If you watch Chris Hogan, or you listen to Dave Ramsey, or the Money Guys, or any of these other guys on the internet and YouTube, listening to their podcasts, it's most important that you have a plan, and that whatever you're doing falls in line with that plan, right? Don't pay attention to the market other than to kind of view it as a roller coaster ride, that it'll go up and it'll go down, and hopefully you're having fun the whole way, right? Make sure that when you're taking risk, you're taking risk, and that you understand what taking risk means. And taking risk means that your stocks are going to go down, right? If you're heavily invested in stocks and the market goes down, you can expect the roller coaster to go down, and that's okay, because generally the roller coaster goes back up. I've read a lot of Reddit, and I see a lot of folks posting on Reddit that they're new to investing, and so they've never seen anything like this, the volatility in such a short period of time. So it is interesting to see how young folks are responding, and the concern and nervousness that they have. And if you are one of those people, I would say, don't do anything, right? If you're invested in stocks, first off, you should be invested for the long term, right? And if you're not invested for the long term, I would get back to asking you what you're invested about, or what are you investing for, right? If you need liquid cash, then you should not be in the You should not be in equities right now or at all, right? If you need cash within the next 12 to 18 months, up to 5 years even, yeah, the stock market's just too volatile for you, right? Put your money into some low interest CDs or a low interest or high interest yield savings account, which are harder and harder to come by these days, but don't put them into equities, right? That's going to go up and down. I think, forget if it was Warren Buffett or I think it was Warren Buffett that said, the stock market in the short term, it is a gambling machine, and in the long term, it is a weighing machine in the sense that it's weighing value. And generally over the long term, it's finding value and it's rewarding value. And so if you're a value investor, you're in it for the long term, the market volatility over the last couple of weeks shouldn't faze you at all. It's interesting to watch. It can be entertaining. Try not to panic. Try not to feed into the panic of others. Understand that the news is, they want you to click on things. They want you to watch things. That's always the case, right? So there's always a story to sell. So just be aware that, yeah, don't buy into the hype, right? Be a long-term investor. Make sure you understand what your plan is. Have a plan. Have a budget. Watch some of these other guys, Dave Ramsey and the Money Guys. Listen to what they have to say, and take care. It'll be okay. All right, thanks, and catch you next time.